Since independence in 1991, Ukraine's democratic development has been an ongoing struggle. Ukrainian elections have been marred by fraud, biased media, and the power of the oligarchy. The Government of Canada is a central player in efforts to democratize Ukraine, sending multiple electoral observation missions, or EOMs for short, to the Eastern European country. Between 2004 and 2014, the Government of Canada contracted by domestic NGOs, has sent a total of 6 bilateral EOMs to Ukraine, ranging in size from approximately 150 to 400 observers. This makes them logistically challenging, costly, and worthy of further study. My thesis attempts to divulge the underlying rationale for the missions, their multiple objectives, and their overall nature. With a mandate of observing, reporting, and assessing elections, EOMs must be invited by the host country and are not to interfere with the electoral process, but to merely provide feedback and allow the citizens of the host country to decide on the legitimacy of the election for themselves. My research has found that these missions are surprisingly multifaceted. They promote the democratic institutions in Ukraine while simultaneously benefiting the Government of Canada. They are supported by all major federal parties, but are championed loudly by the governing party. They consistently improve upon electoral observation mission best practices, but often undermine their own credibility by allowing political bias to infiltrate the missions. The inherent flaw of all EOMs is their susceptibility to politicization because of the absence of any overarching international law or shared norms and standards. For Canada, this issue is exacerbated by the mission's bilateral nature. This is because the missions, although run at arm's length, cannot separate themselves from the Government of Canada, as the government awards the contracts, funds the missions, and even chooses the mission's top leadership roles. Furthermore, Canada is the only country to send bilateral observation missions to Ukraine, and has even been accused of sending too many observers at times, leading the missions to be characterized by some as redundant. Why would the government, under both the Liberals and Conservatives, open themselves up to accusations of bias, or at the very least, the perception of bias? The answer does not lie within Ukraine, but within Canada. Canada's Ukrainian-Canadian community consists of over 1 million people, making it one of Canada's largest ethnic voting blocs. The Government of Canada, and whichever political party is at its helm, has a vested interest in mounting large, visible EOMs to Ukraine to show their steadfast support for the Eastern European nation. Senator Raynell Andreychuk, the head of the mission for the past 4 missions, states, "It may not be an election winner, but it might be an election loser." I conclude that the nature of Canada's missions to Ukraine is therefore both self-serving and other-serving. But the more politicized and self-serving an EOM becomes, the less legitimacy and credibility it holds. Thank you.